Well, another tough one for the Chiefs on Sunday. It was right there, just couldn't get it done in the end. But it's a new week and a new opportunity to get back on track this Sunday as the Chiefs take on the Giants on Sunday Night Football. Well, the Chiefs are 0-2 for the first time in the Patrick Mahomes era and for the first time as a team since the 2014 season. It's certainly not ideal, but this also isn't so different from the Chiefs' tough start to the 2021 season, where they started 1-2 and eventually went 3-4 before finally getting above 500 in Week 9. It's easy to forget about that tough start, though, because the Chiefs still found a way to win 12 games that year and host the AFC Championship game. But things weren't great at the beginning, and for the guys that are still here, that experience of overcoming that rough start will hopefully come in handy now 4 years later. And there's plenty of precedent for teams that begin 0-2 to later go on and make noise in the postseason. Look at just last year. The Rams and Broncos each started 0-2, but went on to make the playoffs. The Ravens started 0-2 last year, which included losing to the Raiders at home before being right there at the end with Buffalo in the divisional round of the postseason. The Texans started 0-2 back in 2023, went on to win their division. And the 1993 Cowboys, the 2001 Patriots, and the 2007 Giants all won the Super Bowl despite starting 0-2. And don't forget, back in 2015, the year the Chiefs secured their first postseason win in 20 years, they began 1-5 that year. So yeah, things haven't gone the way the Chiefs planned so far, but there's also plenty of precedent, both around the NFL and in our own history, that shows the Chiefs can still achieve all their goals this year. It's just a matter of getting back on track, and that has to begin this week.
I think it's just the people that we have in the locker room. Like, it's, even though we've never been 0-2, we've had stretches where we've lost big games kind of consecutively, and guys have responded. You know, like it's about the character of the guys in the locker room more than it is the play on the football field. And I think that we have the guys that are going to continue to work. They're not going to let this kind of push them down. They're going to use it, if anything, as motivation to be even better. And so I think that gives me the most faith. And then the coaches that we have, they'll continue to push to be even better. And so we'll have a great week of practice this week, and knowing we're going to play our best football to win a game against a good football team in the Giants.
Now, if you're looking for some positives from last week, I think the defense played well enough to win against Philadelphia, and I get it. It came in a losing effort. The performance doesn't matter in a vacuum, but in terms of the long-term outlook for the season, it was extremely encouraging considering the way the defense struggled against the Chargers in Brazil a week prior. I mean, look at some of these defensive numbers from last week. The Chiefs held Philly to a 5-for-14 mark on third down. They allowed just 94 total passing yards. They held Saquon Barkley under 100 rushing yards. The Eagles punted on 5 of their 10 possessions. They averaged just 3.7 yards per play. And for the day, the Eagles' 216 total yards marked their fewest in over 3 seasons. This is the kind of defense I expected coming into the season, and that's why Week 1 in Brazil was so surprising. So even though it came in a losing effort, the fact that the defense seemed to hit their stride on Sunday is great news moving forward. Now it's just a matter of building on that against a New York Giants team that exploded offensively last week, scoring 37 points in a roller coaster of a loss to the Dallas Cowboys. Let's back up a second, because the story of the Giants offense this year has been a tale of 2 games, and it's a significant difference. In Week 1 against Washington, the Giants didn't score a touchdown. They went 4 of 16 on third down, they recorded just 231 total yards, and they punted on 6 of their 9 possessions, 3 of which were 3-and-outs. Now contrast that with last week against Dallas. It's night and day. The Giants racked up 506 yards of offense in that game, averaging 7.8 yards per play, behind the second-best passing day of Russell Wilson's career. He threw for 450 yards, finding Malik Neighbors 9 times for 167 yards and 2 touchdowns, and Wan'Dale Robinson 8 times for 142 yards and a touchdown. It was just big play after big play. Wilson completed 7 passes of at least 25 yards in that game, marking the most in a single game of his career and matching the most of any quarterback in a single game since November of last season. And these were legit deep balls. The Giants racked up 316 yards at the catch point in that game. That's 316 yards strictly through the air, the most for any team since, ironically, the Cowboys against the Giants in November of 2023. So in this game, it's pretty simple. The Chiefs can't let that happen, and that begins with creating pressure on Wilson. The Cowboys only pressured Wilson 10 times last week, but when they did it, the difference in performance was significant. When kept clean last week, he completed 27 of 34 passes for 398 yards and 2 touchdowns. But when under pressure, he completed just 3 of 7 passes for 52 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. The Chiefs are blitzing at a 44% clip right now. That's the highest rate in the league. We'll see what they elect to do schematically against Wilson on Sunday, but either way, they need to mess with his timing and prevent those big plays downfield. Now let's talk about the Chiefs offense a little bit, and there were obviously some plays they'd like to have back against the Eagles. They actually outgained Philly by 74 yards in that game, but it really came down to 3 plays. The missed field goal early in the game, the failed 4th down attempt that gave Philly a short field, and the interception in the red zone near the end of the game. Those 3 plays directly led to 17 points for Philadelphia. Think about that. The Eagles only scored 3 points on possessions that didn't begin with some kind of giveaway. And at the same time, the Chiefs obviously didn't get any points on those 3 drives, 2 of which were legit scoring chances. It just goes to show how thin the margin is in the NFL, and while the Chiefs' offensive numbers weren't up to their standard last week, I have confidence they'll figure that part of it out, especially once Xavier Worthy and Rashee Rice are back on the field. But at the same time, the Chiefs have got to clean up these margin sort of plays, and hopefully that'll begin against a New York defense that has a bunch of talent, but has also struggled this year. Let's start with where they're impressive though, and it's right up front. I mean, this defensive line has the potential to be a top 5 unit in the league. Look at some of the names these guys have. Kayvon Thibodeau, Brian Burns, Dexter Lawrence, Abdul Carter. I mean, these guys have some household names on their defensive front. And while their overall sack numbers are middle of the pack right now in the NFL, 4 of their 6 sacks as a team have taken place on first down. That's tied for the most in the NFL. And for a Chiefs offense that's looking to get going, the last thing they need is a negative play on first down. So the Chiefs' protection has to be on point in this game, and this could also be a great opportunity to run the ball. The Chiefs are 17th in the NFL right now in total rushing yards, and 56% of that production has come from Patrick Mahomes. It just hasn't clicked so far for the Chiefs' running game, but running the ball is the best way to keep a talented pass rush under control, and the Giants have struggled this year against the run so far. They're allowing the most rushing yards per game of any team in the NFL through 2 weeks. I mean, they allowed 220 rushing yards to the Commanders in Week 1 and 135 rushing yards to Dallas last week. That's part of some larger overall struggles for this Giants defense so far, which is surrendering the most yards per game of any team in the league through 2 weeks at 455. The Giants have also struggled in the red zone, allowing 6 red zone touchdowns on 7 opportunities so far. So the chances will be there for the Chiefs offense in this game. As talented as this Giants defense is, it's just a matter of taking advantage of it.
For us in general, I think it's just execution stuff. I mean, we're just barely off here and there. And in the NFL, if you're playing good defenses, if you miss plays, then the drives stall out. And so we're just going to continue to work and continue to practice and learn those things. And as we get guys back, we'll continue to execute at a higher level.
Now, in addition to getting in the win column on Sunday night, the Chiefs also have a chance to close the book on a somewhat unbelievable piece of franchise history. The Chiefs have never beaten the Giants on the road, ever. They've played the Giants in New York 7 times, beginning in 1978 and spanning through 2017, and they've lost all 7. That makes the Giants the only team the Chiefs have never beaten on the road in their history as a franchise. It's hard to believe, but it's true. And what better time to get our first road win over the Giants than on Sunday Night Football as the Chiefs aim to get this season back on track and in the win column.